Hey y'all, and welcome back to Graphic Content, the show where I make an unofficial merch design for one of my favorite wrestlers while telling you why they're one of my favorite wrestlers. And today, we're gonna be popping dogs and talking hogs with none other than the Kentucky gentleman himself, Chuck Taylor. And I also want to apologize because my screen record legitimately lost the first half of this design process, so oopsie poopsies, po body's nerfed. Anyways, I've talked before on the channel about this video, the funny side of independent wrestling, a clip that was kind of my gateway drug into the world of indie wrestling back in the day. It introduced me to guys like El Generico, Delirious, Colt Cabana, and more importantly, this absolute sociopath of a human being screaming at children, Chuck Taylor. You see, when people talk about guys like Ricochet or Will Ospreay doing things they had never seen before in a wrestling ring, Chuck Taylor really did things I had never seen before in a wrestling ring. He'd pose for pictures with his opponent in front of these large Bob Ross paintings. He'd have Trent climb on his shoulders in a trench coat to become the world's largest wrestler. He'd pull out an invisible grenade and legitimately blow up the entire ring of competitors. If there were ever like established rules in professional wrestling, Chuck Taylor threw those out the window the moment he stepped foot in a ring. And I feel like he's unfortunately kind of fallen into the role of the other guy in Best Friends lately in AEW. And that sucks because to me, Chuck Taylor's the biggest reason a place like AEW even exists. You see, some of the biggest names in wrestling today all had some influence from Chuck Taylor in one way or another. There's obviously like the big connection with Orange Cassidy, a guy who's actually worked with Chuck like their entire careers, but there's also guys like Ricochet, a guy who was trained and mentored by Chuck early on in his career. There's Johnny Gargano, who worked alongside Chuck and Chikara as members of the Friends in Similar Tights, aka Fist. And there's even Kenny fucking Omega, a guy who worked in PWG with Taylor as the Men of Low Moral Fiber. And that's just a small sampling of the dudes who rose to greatness after working with the Kentucky Gentleman. Everyone from Claudio Castagnoli to Bryan Danielson have gotten some influence from working with Chuck Taylor. You see, for me and for a lot of other people, Chuck Taylor was our gateway into independent wrestling because Chuck Taylor is independent wrestling. A world where the rules get broken, where the laws of professional wrestling are more suggestions than anything else, where you genuinely never know what's gonna happen next. A world of boundless creativity. And that creativity has a snowball effect because something as small as a goofy guy threatening to drown someone in a painting of a lake could lead to another equally ridiculous and fun idea. And that ridiculous idea begets another and another until eventually those silly little ideas aren't so silly or little anymore. So now you live in a world where a picture of you and your friends shirtless actually gets retweeted by The Rock. A world where the dudes you trained and mentored are main eventing pay-per-views for world championships. And a world where instead of wrestling in a small community center in Easton, Pennsylvania, you're wrestling in front of over 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium with your best friends. You gotta admit, that's fucking cool. And there it is, another episode of Graphic Content in the bag, another design on the table. What do you guys think? I kind of went very fucking warped tour on this one, but I actually dig it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and also let me know what your favorite Chuck Taylor memories are while you're down there. And also make sure to check out the pinned comment for a few of my favorite Chuck Taylor matches, promos. Basically, if you want to get ingratiated into the world of the Kentucky Gentleman, just check out that pinned comment. I'll have some goodies down there for you. And of course, make sure to follow us on Twitter at FightBoyShow so you can check out all of the different art pieces we put out. I've said it before, but we're actually doing a wrestling art marathon where I'm trying to do 100 days of different designs for different people and different companies, and we've actually gotten to work a bit with New South Wrestling, our local indie, and we really dig what we're putting out, so check that out. And also remember, our DMs are open, so if you want to like commission us, please commission us. I really need to afford my indie wrestling habit, guys, come on. And of course, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, share, do whatever our YouTube overlords parents want you to do this week. Because, hey, when you're a fight boy for life.